everyone. Welcome to this 8 Talk session of the journey of connecting and pitching AR to brands. My name is Navjeet Chhina. I'm the founder and CEO of Genius Ventures. We are an innovation agency that does AR and VR projects predominantly for Fortune 500 and large enterprise. Over the last 6 years, we've worked on AR, VR, XR projects across various verticals, from sports to automotive to furniture to health and beauty, real estate, film and television. And we've been fortunate enough to work with dozens of Fortune 500 brands and learn a lot of lessons on how to connect and pitch to these brands. And that's what we're going to be sharing with you today. So the agenda for today, we're going to discuss what a well-balanced pitch entails, how to conduct preliminary research on the client, their goals, their objectives, what purpose AR serves brands, and the importance of talking about marketing and advertising funnels. We're going to talk about how to best showcase and engage clients with examples of AR, and then finally, how to gain trust with proper statements of work and project management plans. So I have a system that I call the 3 Ps, and this is how we've found success on becoming a vendor for Fortune 500 brands, large enterprise, large agencies, and major brands. So the 3 Ps are people, product, and procurement. So firstly, you want to be the people that a brand wants to work with. Whether you're an individual developer or an agency, you want to showcase that you're the right person or the right agency that this brand wants to work with. Next, you want to showcase that you have the technical proficiency to build the type of product that this brand needs. And then finally, you also want to show that you are an easy agency or developer to work with by understanding the procurement process, and that you can be onboarded easily as a vendor and be paid easily. So first things first, this fits under people. So in order to gain proper trust, in order to connect with the brand, whether it be an account manager or a brand manager that you're talking to, you always want to understand the brand that you're going to work with. So this comes in 2 parts. If it's a public company, there's a lot of publicly available information, whether that be shareholder statements or documents or investor documents, public documents that show what the brand's goals are for the upcoming year. For example, we've had a pitch with Visa where we first looked at what some of their strategic goals were coming up into 2022. It's now 2023, but this was a 2022 plan. We looked at some of their strategic priorities. We looked at their areas of focus. So before we even start talking to a brand, when we get our meeting on the books, we start trying to learn, what is this brand's business goals? What are the KPIs that they're trying to hit? And also importantly, what is the demographics of their audience? How old is their audience? In what regions of the world do they live? Are they male? Are they female? Do they fit within a certain income class or a socioeconomic class? And by understanding all of this, we learn a lot more about the brand. So we're very well suited to talk about some of the strategic priorities and understand where the brand wants to go when we get on that first meeting with them. So like I said, this information is publicly available for public companies, and a lot of major companies publish documents or have clues on their social media or on their website related to what some of their goals are. And if you cannot find some of this information, that one of the things that we really like to do is bring this up as soon as we have a first meeting with the brands, is start understanding, before you even start talking about the AR or the experiences, is really understanding what their business goals are, their KPIs, and their audience demographics. Because even if they have an AR project in mind, as soon as you understand a bit more about the brand, you can start making suggestions on how to improve the project, how to improve the experience, how to make sure that the experience is more on brand. Next, you want to be able to showcase what purpose AR serves brands. So whether you're dealing with an account manager or a brand manager or someone from the marketing side of the brand that you're looking to work with, you really want to understand where this AR experience that you're going to be creating falls. And if you're going to be working with the brand to deliver an experience or even ideate the experience, you really want to be able to talk the talk. So it's very important to understand the terminology that marketing managers use, or advertising managers, or brand managers use. So these are things that I suggest that everybody here goes and researches. So there's a few things called the marketing funnel, the advertising funnel, and brand value, brand purpose, product value, product purpose. All of these things fits along the lines of why a brand would be considering an AR campaign. So along the advertising and marketing funnel, there's you can create an AR campaign anywhere from awareness of a product or a brand to consideration when somebody's already aware of the brand and they are considering making a purchase or they're considering becoming a customer, all the way to conversion where they've already considered the brand, they've weighed their options, and now they want to buy or they want to become a client of the brand. And then for existing customers, loyalty to the brand. So promotions or a reason why they keep coming back. So it's very important to understand the terminology for marketing funnels, advertising funnels, and what purpose AR serves brands. And if you're able to talk in this language, if you're able to talk the talk that the brand understands, that their marketing team understands, or their VPs understand, it's going to be a lot easier to be able to sell an AR project through to these brands. Next is making it real. So it's one thing to be able to deliver the AR experience itself. It's one thing to be able to ideate around the AR experience. But in order to really make it real for the brand, in order for them to fully grasp exactly what this AR experience entails, you need to talk about everything else. First, like we discussed in the previous slides, what are the goals for this campaign? Are you looking to raise awareness for the brand? Are you looking to get extra engagement or extra impressions or more website visits? Then you also want to talk about where is this going to be distributed? Are we going to run ad campaigns? Is this going to be in our monthly newsletter? Is this going to be highlighted across all social media channels, driving back to the eighth wall experience? So we also want to talk about the distribution. How are people going to find this? How are they going to engage with this AR experience? How are they going to get to the AR experience? And this also leads to entry points. You want to be able to talk about how will customers find this. So for example, if you're creating an AR experience for a brand, you want to make it super easy to for their customers to be able to find this experience. So if they have a website, you want to put a QR code on a website that leads to the AR experience. If they have traditional marketing materials such as posters and billboards and signage around the city, then you want to have QR codes on some of those pieces of traditional media so people can access the AR experience. If they have products, adding QR codes to those products. If the brand does email campaigns, you want to include links in those email campaigns so that links or QR codes in those email campaigns so their audience can easily access the experience. If they do text message campaigns, you want to make sure that in the text message campaigns, there's links to the AR experience so that their customers can easily find the experience. And then lastly, coming down to creative, you want to make sure that you're talking about what is the brand's tone of voice? What is some of the typography that they use? What are the brand colors that they use? And it's very important as you talk about the creative that you take into account the tone of voice, the typography, and the color schemes of the brand so that everything that you do is on brand and it's consistent with the rest of the messaging of the brand. So as you're talking about the AR experience itself, you want to talk about everything around the AR experience. The goals of the experience, the distribution, the entry points, how will customers find it? What does the creative look like? Is this consistent with the brand messaging? And once you combine all of these things with the AR experience itself, this really makes it real and it makes it a project that the brand is able to get out into the world. And it makes it super easy for a brand manager or an account manager to sell this up through to their VP or their manager or whoever is approving this project because it's a well thought out project with everything else considered around it. Next is showcasing AR. So when you're showcasing AR, typically you're dealing with folks that often haven't engaged with AR before. They've been given a directive that they need to integrate AR into a campaign, or they need to bring AR to the brand itself. So when you're showcasing AR there and you're pitching AR, you want to make it super easy. You want to when you're creating a deck, you want to be adding things like QR codes, so that when you're on a live presentation, you're able to have people on the other end scan the QR code and try an AR experience themselves. You also want to explain the business value of AR for previous projects that you've done. You want to make pitch decks short and sweet. If you're just giving a wide variety of examples that have nothing to do with the brand, it's something that we call fire hosing, where you're just spraying everywhere, but you're not really hitting a target. So you want to keep things short, sweet, and relevant to the brand, and visuals as well. You want to have GIFs in your decks, in your presentation, showing other AR experiences. Otherwise, it's like explaining TV over the radio. So once again, all these previous slides have to do with being the people that the brand wants to work with. By showing that you understand the brand, by showing that you understand the terminology, the marketing funnel, the advertising funnel, by showing that you understand everything around the AR itself, the goals, the distribution, the creative, the entry points, and then as well showcasing showing how you showcase AR. This all has to do with being the people the brand wants to work with. You are intelligent about everything around the AR and not just the AR itself. So next, we're going to show a few slides on how we showcase AR over at Genius. So here's some of the projects we've done. So this was a project we did on 8th Wall for Acura. And in our decks, we always showcase the business value. So we put the logo front and center. We put some visuals. Please take note, these are GIFs that we've now embedded into a phone frame. We typically do iPhones or Samsungs. We always use the latest phones so that it's super relevant. But as you see now, it's easy to visualize that this is an AR experience. Sometimes if you don't put the phone frames or a mobile device in there, it can often be mistaken for VFX or post-production. So you really want to make sure that it's inside of a mobile device. So here we next talk about a quick title is AR car shopping. What's the name of the activation in a few words so it's easy to digest. And then we talk about the business value of AR itself. So here we said, with auto dealerships being closed in 2020 due to the pandemic, we enabled Acura to showcase their 2021 Acura TLX model. Using true-to-life graphics and interactive info cards, customers were able to explore all the car's features and recreate the in-dealership experience. So a few key points here. We enabled Acura to showcase their TLX model. So this is showcasing what AR does. And then here, the business value. Recreate the in-dealership experience from any location. So when you're showcasing AR, you really want to talk about what does this do for the business. If it doesn't help a brand or a business meet their goals, their business goals, they're more than likely not going to purchase an AR campaign. So you really want to talk about the business value of AR itself. So another project is Honda AR dealership. We did this on 8th Wall. So once again, we said we allowed customers to place a vehicle in their space and tap on the truck to learn more information about specific features. And right here we said we were able to drive traffic to the website, which is a business goal, and enable customers to learn more and book an appointment to test drive. So once again, talking about what are the business goals of the previous campaigns you've done. And if you're just beginning, then being able to find some examples either from the 8th Wall website, talking to the 8th Wall team and getting examples you can use on specific case studies. There's a lot on the website, but really talking about the success that other brands have seen and what the business value of the AR campaign itself was. Next campaign that we did for Walmart, once again, short, simple, and sweet. To overcome reduced foot traffic to physical stores, we used AR to drive sales of Walmart's outdoor summer furniture collection. So short, sweet, talk about the business goals, provide a logo, and provide some visuals of what the AR campaign entailed. Here was a campaign where we allowed folks to build a scene with Walmart's summer catalog in their backyard or in their homes. So with all of this, this showcases the product piece, showing your technical proficiency of being able to create the product or the AR experience that the brand is looking for. So by showcasing some of your previous work, by being able to talk about it, by talking about the business goals, it talks about the proficiency that you have in building product. So now we've talked about people and we've talked about product. And so as we keep going down, we're gonna keep going down to making it real again for the brand. So a lot of people learn in different ways. They experience things in different ways. Some people like visuals, some people like hearing things, but a lot of people like facts as well. So oftentimes we deliver the facts, some of the scientific facts of what AR does, and talking the language that either the marketing team's going to pay attention to or someone that likes statistics is gonna pay attention to. So here we always talk about things like AR delivered almost double the levels of visual attention compared to their non-AR equivalent. Here we talk about memory encoding is 70% higher with AR. So when you talk about these facts, it really allows a brand to see that, oh, by doing an AR campaign, I might get double the amount of attention as compared to if I did an image campaign, social media graphics, or a video campaign on social media. I might be able to get double the amount of attention, and memory encoding is 70% higher. So my audience is gonna find this much more memorable. So being able to provide facts and statistics about AR is another way of making it real for the brand. And once again, this has to do with you being the people and understanding the product that the brand wants to work with. So you being able to talk about the statistics, what AR does for the brand, it's going to gain a lot more trust with the brand wanting to work with you. Next, in terms of gaining trust, this comes to now the procurement piece. We've talked about being the people the brand wants to work with. We've talked about showcasing that you have the ability to build the product and talk about the product to ensure that the brand wants to work with you. But the final piece, and this is especially important for large enterprise or Fortune 500 or large agencies, they will not work with you unless you are able to put together a proper project management plan, unless you're able to create a proper statement of work and show what a schedule and a budget looks like. So the other points of gaining trust with a brand is on the procurement side. So through project management plans, points of contacts, communication channels, all of these things are super important to building trust with a brand, to understand that they can onboard you easily as a vendor. So here's an example of a project management plan or a schedule that we will provide to a brand as we're working with them. Here we'll talk about the phases of production. Say a AR project starts on March 1st. We'll establish right from the very beginning. All right, on March 7th, we're going to set up communication channels, whether this be Slack or Microsoft Teams. We suggest on our end, never give out a personal phone number. It can be abused from the brand side. You don't want people texting you and calling you if it's not necessary. But setting up a communication channel where you can talk easily and asynchronously outside of just email itself, we suggest, yes, Slack or Microsoft Teams. So once again, you make it very easy for the brand to understand what this project is going to look like from end to end. So you start March 1st, March 7th, you set up communication channels. You let the brand know that on March 14th, we want to lock on the concept. By March 20th, we want to have the scope requirements filled out. And then next, this is also very important, is the division of responsibilities. If it's the responsibility of a brand to get you their typography, their logos, their brand colors, the hex code for their colors, the font for their typography, you want to make sure that it's clearly outlined what you need from the brand and when you need it. If you have a project launching on March 1st and it's due June 1st, you want to make sure that you have everything you need as soon as possible so that the project doesn't get delayed because you're waiting on assets from the brand. So you also want to lay out who's responsible for what. I, myself, as a developer or as an agency, am responsible for the creation of the project, the schedule, the budget, making sure it's delivered on time, but you as the brand are responsible for delivering these things to me. So you also want to outline this in the beginning. And then as well, you want to let the brand know what stages of development, what the stages of development are going to be. You don't want to just start a project on March 1st and have no communication till June 1st. You want to set a cadence around meetings, whether that be a weekly meeting or a bi-weekly meeting. We suggest a bi-weekly meeting or a weekly meeting if it's needed, but just to update on progress. If you're building assets for the brand, to showcase some of the assets that you're building, to give sneak peeks of what's going on, and really just showing the brand, what's going to happen along the way. So, all the way from March to June is we're going to start with the communication channels, the concept. We're going to divide responsibilities. Here, we're going to have development with dummy assets. Here, we're going to implement the final creative. And it's also important to note that you always save a bit of time for quality assurance, legal review, especially with larger brands. There's going to be legal review. So you definitely want to make sure that you have time in there for that. And then, say the launch date is going to be June 1st, then you launch it on June 1st. So it's very important to lay out a schedule for the brand so they understand exactly how you work, they understand how to get in contact with you, they understand who the point of contact is going to be on your end, and they understand how they can get a hold of you if they need to get a hold of you asynchronously to talk about the project. Next is a statement of work outline. So this is very important, especially for large Fortune 500 brands or large enterprise or agencies. This is actually a requirement that they lump the budget for projects into specific categories between creative or engineering or project management or quality assurance. So, and it's also a good practice for yourself to get into. It's just really breaking down exactly what hours are going to go into this project and how much you're going to charge for each one of those hours. So what we've done here is we've laid out a few different ways to do this. One is, if you're an agency, laying out exactly what the component of work is, from the CG team to the engineering team to the creative director to the project manager to the quality assurance team and the account manager, whether that be your CFO, whether that be your account administrator. You want to break things down into these different buckets, which are work types: creative, engineering, project management, QA, and admin. And you also want to put your cost per hour and then your total cost. So as an agency, it's really good to get into this practice. And as an individual creator, even if you're not working with large brands just yet, it's really good for yourself and to start working with even small, medium-sized brands to show exactly where your time and effort is going to go so that you can justify budgets. Oftentimes, for a smaller brand that's, a smaller medium brand, and you're giving them a $10, $15, $20, $25,000 price tag, it's that they want to know exactly how that's done, because they might be used to paying a few $1,000s for a social media campaign or a video, or a few $100s for some graphic design, but they don't get exactly what goes into the AR campaign itself. So once you break it down into these different buckets, from even if it's just yourself as an individual creator, you break it down into, this is how much time I'm going to spend on concept, this is how much time I'm going to spend on design, this is how much time I'm going to spend on development, and this is how much time I'm going to spend on meetings. Then you can break down exactly what the cost of your time is and how many hours it's going to take, which justifies the budget. The other thing that we suggest is set a deadline for the work to be completed, and also set a maximum for rounds of feedback. You don't want to get into a situation with a brand where they can continuously keep iterating and giving feedback on the AR project. We suggest 3 rounds where you split that up over the length of the project, where the brand has the ability to come in, look at some of the assets you've designed, look at some of the experience and give feedback. But if you leave it open to give continuous feedback, the project can go on forever and you can miss deadlines. So you want to set a maximum for rounds of feedback. We suggest 3. And then as we suggested in the previous slides, is also assigning a point of contact that the brand can talk to. If you're an agency, make sure it's someone on the admin side or the project management side. And if you're an individual creator, the point of contact might be yourself, but making sure that the brand knows who that point of contact is and how they can contact them. And next, just getting down to, this encompasses everything from being the people that the brand wants to work with, to understanding the product and the market, and understanding everything that's going on in the industry. And you really want to have competitive intelligence and you want to know what's going on in the industry in general. So a few of the resources that we suggest is Artillery, great website. They have reports that come out monthly. They tell you about the latest in AR, VR, HMDs, all the latest stats and all the latest figures and campaigns. A very good resource. Another good resource is the AR Insider blog. There's the IAB reports, which are the Interactive Advertising Bureau reports. A lot of good stuff in there about AR. You can get a membership to the VR ARA. They have a series of committees that are dedicated to different parts of AR where you can learn a lot and network with clients, from retail to retail committees to metaverse committees to AR committees. A lot of different committees in the VR ARA. And then as well, there's a newsletter called The Information, which has a lot of good content with a specific segment called Reality Check. It talks about AR and VR. And then lastly, for everyone here, we have a folder, which is our Genius Intelligence Drive folder. It has dozens of subfolders in it that everybody here can access from the deck. Has dozens of subfolders in it that give you intelligence on what's happening in the industry, from AR, VR to metaverse to case studies to successful campaigns. So everyone here, please feel free to dig into that folder and take some of that information for yourself. And with that, that concludes our 8 Talk session today on the journey of pitching and connecting with brands, and keeping in mind that the 3 Ps. You want to be the people the brand wants to work with, you want to have the ability to showcase the product and your technical proficiency, and you also want to make sure that it's easy to onboard you and work with the procurement teams of the brand that you want to work with, so that it's very easy to work with you as well. Thank you.